Kaz and Risk, and welcome to episode 20 of Koppai Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kaz and Risk, joined alongside Mr. Koppai himself, Zach Risk.
X gonna give it to ya!
X gonna give it to ya! And we also are joined by a very special guest, Zein Okko. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you may recognize Zein from, he is a game designer that's worked over on a Wii U console exclusive, Typoman. He is currently working with Goodwolf Studio. He's, you have like a prelude or kind of prologue up of a game called Code 7 up right now, and I think you're farther working on that. You're an animator, a writer. You've made a ton of great games. You can find a lot of those like on Game Jolt and stuff. What are some of like the highlight, your highlight reel, Zein, that you would like just everyone just needs to know? This is what I'm known for.
Well, I mean, you pretty much said most of it. Like I think my biggest project until now was Typoman for Wii U.
Yeah.
Which we released last year. Then the prologue of Code 7 is pretty big, I guess. We got nominated twice for that.
Yeah, a ton of awards.
Yeah, both are great games. Code 7 is awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, the rest of my personal games are more like smaller experiments.
Uh-huh.
I have done like one serious game called Stab of Conscience. That might be worth mentioning because it's like not the typical game.
Yeah, I played that, and that was really cool too.
Yeah, but it's Typoman Code 7 at the moment.
Yeah,
really awesome.
Typoman, I mean, I think that was recently maybe on sale for the Wii U. And so I know a lot of people, like, there's a lot of buzz about that. I think it was kind of like in the news highlight for that, and there's a demo available of it if people want to go check it out. It's really, really fun game. I mean, lots of puzzle mechanics, and for people that maybe are hungry for a puzzle game after the sad news that we're going to get to later about the Zelda Delay. Really fun game to kind of get into, and will tickle your brain the same way. Along with Code 7, if you're listening to this on a computer, you can go download Code 7, the Prelude, right now, or the Prelude.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of a quicker experience, but really just it immerses you so quickly and so well. And I played that last night and was just completely... I was up all night thinking about AI and just stuff like that. So
the game gave me chills. I loved it. So, and I can't wait for more.
That's cool. Happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so, so we'll have Zein on throughout the rest of the show. Will be really awesome to kind of have your perspective, and we'll talk about your future plans, maybe your heart behind all that game design and the narrative established in that.
Yeah, sure.
But it'll also be kind of cool to hear your thoughts with the discussion today on the NX and Zelda and stuff. It seems like, kind of following through what you said and all that, that Zelda may have been like an inspiration for some of the puzzle mechanics you have in game design. And so that'll be really cool to discuss. Another piece of news to kind of get to before we get to the Nintendo pipeline is that this is episode 20, and what we're kind of doing with the month of May is giving Koppai Productions a push forward. You may have noticed that all of the thumbnails and all of the banners on our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube are all completely different with kind of a redesign and a new logo that is very reminiscent of the Super Mario Power Star. This is just kind of our next initiative in further defining ourselves as a Nintendo brand and as people that are loving and supporting and talking about and criticizing and just overall talking about Nintendo. And so we hope you guys enjoy the kind of new look. That'll be going up this weekend. We're recording on Saturday. I'll start updating all of that tomorrow, and you'll be listening to this on Monday. We also, sometime this weekend, hopefully everything's good to go by Monday, are going to be launching a merchandise store on Redbubble. And so we're going to have the new logo is going to be in different T-shirt formats. We're going to have mugs, blankets, stickers, tumblers. I think there's so much merchandise that's going to be available on our Redbubble. If you just search for Koppai, you'll be able to find it there. And we actually, I mean, there's probably, I think, even more than that. We're going to have...
I think that, isn't our Patreon exclusive launching also on...
Yep, we're going to have our Patreon exclusive completely dedicated to the 15th anniversary of Animal Crossing. Some really, really funny stories in there about Animal Crossing. And we also are, I'm going to try to have ready by Monday snippets of our March and April exclusive episodes from Patreon. So you can also get an idea of what those episodes sound like and maybe see if you want to try those out for yourselves. Because if you do hop over to patreon.com/Koppai Productions, you can get 3 episodes, if you're listening now, 3 episodes of Koppai Podcast for just $1, and it also enters you to win a Nintendo NX. Um, once we hit a certain threshold or a certain tier on our Patreon donations, we'll give away the NX, and if it's not March 2017 yet, by the time we hit that, we'll negotiate with you and talk with you and set you up with a pre-order for the NX. And so lots of cool perks to go over to our Patreon. I mean, yeah, that new episode is going to be live today. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It was a little bit longer.
We were gonna do it like maybe a little shorter, and it always ends up going a little longer. So
Yeah, we need to plan on going longer, and we'll probably go shorter.
yeah.
But yeah, I think for the most part that's it. We once again we keep tweeting at people. We're trying to get that whole Twitter initiative going of talking to the fans. That's actually been a really cool response because we've been getting lots more discussion going. And the big thing is just the new logo, the new redesign, and the next steps we're taking forward. If we don't have it officially announced, we should have very soon a trailer and promotional material for a live stream in May. We're going to be trying to live stream for about 12 hours within the month of May, all at once within May. We're thinking about the second weekend or so, about like the 14th or 15th in that time area.
Yeah.
It'll probably be officially announced by now, but because we're recording prior to all that last minute setup, I don't want to definitely confirm or deny stuff like that because we may have to change it. And so be on the lookout for that because, we're going to be playing through probably lots of co-op games. So we're going to be trying out the Star Fox co-op. We're going to be trying out Super Mario 3D World co-op, which is just an absolute blast. We'll do Mario Kart. For those of you that are supporters of Koppai, we'll probably play with you online if we can set up a room for Mario Kart and stuff like that. And so it's going to be, I mean, for those that say there's no games on the Wii U, we're going to find them and we're going to play them for 12 hours. And so it's going to be an absolute blast. Lots and lots of stuff happening for the start of May and kind of moving forward into a new era of Koppai as we lead into E3, the NX, and all of that. It's just perfect timing for all this to come together. And Zein, you're just here to just witness it all.
Yeah, so, I wish you good luck with that.
Thank you.
But I think for the most part, that's it. Unless I'm missing something. I feel like I'm missing something because I feel like I've been working so hard the past couple of weeks to get everything ready in time for May.
I think that's about everything.
But I think they're just so loaded. Like all the new redesigns and all of the new logo and branding is just so packed that it's really when I say it out loud, it's not too much, but it's going to be a ton. So I think that's it. So hopefully everyone's excited and hopefully everyone continues to support. We will have the winner for the April Amiibo announced by now. So go check out our Twitter and our Facebook and all that to see if you won. I'll be contacting you individually, but if somehow you missed that.
I was thinking we might make like a little video for that or something, just like a little congratulations.
Like a drum roll. Like, yeah. Or have it like come out of the Legend of Zelda treasure chest, like and then have their name come out.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we gotta do something like that.
Maybe we'll do something like that. I bet I could find somewhere online too, like a template of Link doing that but holding up nothing. Yeah. I'll find it and I'll just put the amiibo they chose in there. Someone wanted the gold Mario amiibo. When I talked to them, they're like, "If I win, I want that one." I'm like, "All right, you may only get one amiibo then, because for April we're doing 2 amiibo, but if they want the gold one, we may have to ease it back a little bit." But I think that's it. And so, Zach, without further ado, Nintendo really clogged up the pipeline this week.
Yeah.
And so if you want to get into the news, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it and get out of here at a reasonable hour to go get some lunch.
Yeah.
Zein, it's like nighttime for Zein. That's ramen. So weird.
Yeah, like evening.
Yeah, it's crazy.
7 p.m.
Yeah. I guess that's still pretty early for the night owls and stuff.
It's a good compromise for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, we got like the most massive, not actually the most massive news ever, because actually and like a name and some more details coming later this year would probably be a more massive dump, but they did clog it with some pretty juicy details that we now know Kaz was right.
I
Hashtag Kaz
was.
was right. The NX, Nintendo have broken their silence on it. We don't have a name yet, of course, but Bill Trinen himself confirmed that the Nintendo NX will release in March of 2017.
Well, I mean,
Um,
even more so than Bill. I mean,
yeah, everybody at
yeah, like
Nintendo.
I mean, the Tatsumi Kimishima, he was just like, yo. I mean, I remember because I was up
Yeah, it
at
was mostly from Kimishima.
yeah, but Bill Trinen, I mean, Nintendo. That's the crazy thing. I was up at the 2 a.m. when this was being shared for the West and stuff. I stayed up and like I was one of actually the first people. No one really cared because it was Koppai and we are kind of a smaller following
Well,
right
and you
now.
knew for sure too, and especially with your insider knowledge that like we'd been predicting it, and you said in like the last episode that we kind of were telling people to hold off and wait like this week, really
Yeah,
potentially, and we'd heard kind of a little like leak or rumor that potentially maybe this week is the lift date, and so it was
but even
right, and we
even
knew we were
before even
expecting it.
before Emily Rogers was going around saying, "Oh, it's going to be this week. It's going to be there's a financial meeting." Before I was even hearing that, I'm
Yeah.
talking like I think even back like when we like back in March, I was saying like April. It's going to be April,
Yeah,
and
well,
you.
we made kind of definitive predictions and kind
Hmm.
of had to stick with it. We kind of made a little bet with each other. And I
Yeah,
said maybe like the week before E3, or I think kind of E3 is probably when I think the NX will be more so talked about. Maybe kind of a Fallout 4 thing where a
you were
week
way wrong. They're
before.
not even going to E3,
Yeah,
but I'm getting ahead of myself.
but you were even right about how like maybe not even like releasing the name or something, but just not being so silent about it because
Yeah, just
really
talking about it.
Nintendo hasn't they haven't been talking about it or even acknowledging it, which has been kind of ridiculous, kind of silly in a way because it's like everybody knows about it, everybody's talking about it,
Yeah.
but Nintendo. So that's what really the big news is that they finally have stopped being silent about it and actually said it's coming
Yeah,
out.
because once the actual investor meeting started and they had the I guess kind of leaked, but it was published. I mean, but it wasn't intended for the mass audience. That document that basically said like our next initiative is the NX. It'll
Yeah.
start in the next fiscal year or at the end of the fiscal year for March 2017. Like even when that came out, it was like I kind of had like goosebumps. Like I was right. Like this is it.
Yeah.
We have the release date for the NX almost. And then like right after that was kind of like a fulfilling moment. Then Nintendo America, and then like right after that Nintendo UK, and right after that like Nintendo Japan, like they all like simultaneously tweeted like the next generation of Nintendo is coming, and I was like,
Yeah.
they actually said it. Like
Yeah.
that's an actual tweet. Like I had to retweet that and be like, whoa, this is crazy because yeah, they
Yeah.
broke the silence on it, and I mean now they're going to be talking about it like in Nintendo Minutes. You have to imagine they're going to be like, I mean, not like talking about it like in detail, but they're going to mention, and we have the NX coming out soon. Like it'll be so surreal to kind of hear those thoughts from them and kind of
Yeah.
realize that wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah, for sure. And not only did they say that the NX is officially coming out March 2017, but they said Zelda is confirmed to be launching simultaneously on both the Wii U and the Nintendo NX console, which we also predicted. We always call it Zelda
Oh
Wii
yeah,
U slash NX, and
we can't
everybody.
take. Yeah, everyone's thought that.
Yeah, I think Emily Rogers was one of the first people to kind of like say she had real solid sources on that.
Hmm.
We got a really cool background art
Hmm.
for the or not it's our background art, but it's just kind of like a promo image for the game. Um,
Yeah.
and it's been pushed to release coinciding with the NX in March 2017.
Assuming
Um,
that there's some back and
yeah,
forth right now
right,
because
right, right.
I had assumed initially that it was going to be launching with the NX,
Yeah,
and then the press release forum said, yeah, Zelda is releasing March 2017. It's like
right.
okay, that makes sense, but now they've since changed it to 2017.
Yeah, they just took out
If
the
they
March.
if they have Zelda launching after the NX release,
Yeah, well,
like
they
if
could do
it's
it before, maybe. That's what I was thinking too. You have to think of the possibility that, I guess they said they were releasing them simultaneously, so the
yeah
NX, I guess, would have to be out. But it would be kind of nice, I guess, if for the Wii U owners who have been holding out and were promised this game, like
yeah
if they released it just a little bit, like a month earlier or something for those Wii U owners, But yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably right. That it'll be a later release. I'm guessing, you know. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think because Twilight Princess was later for the GameCube people
yeah,
that were loyal.
well, yeah, it
Uh,
makes sense because I mean, it would probably be the lesser, like the more buggy on the Wii U console. It wouldn't be running nearly
yeah,
as good, and they would
I
probably have to
wonder what the
take a little
gap
more
is going to
time.
be there. But
Yeah. And they've done this with Zelda before too, because when they have this whole, because they've delayed it for like 2 years now. Like before they had like a holiday 2015, and then they released like took it away to be just 2015, and then they were like spring 2016, and then like
yeah,
took away the spring, and then they put like to be determined and to be announced, and then it's like they just keep doing this with Zelda. We
yeah.
might
Then they had the
never see
trailer
it.
though that like definitively said at the end 2016. It was like, okay, like you guys put it in a trailer, like that is
Yeah,
confirmed. Like it wasn't Miyamoto and Ayanuma kind of like joking with each other, like,
right.
are you going to get it out in time? But Zine, did you have something that you wanted to add, or I thought I had heard you speak up there, but hopefully we didn't cut you off.
I'm just as psyched as you are.
Yeah.
I I'm a very recent Wii U owner. I managed to I'm always pretty late with everything. So when I heard it will also launch on Wii U, I was pretty excited because I didn't want to like get a new console next year.
Interesting,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I haven't really heard people like a lot of people are saying like, all right, well now I'm just going to go ahead and get on the NX, but I haven't really heard people have the perspective of like, oh, I can get on the Wii U now. Like that's at least that's still confirmed. Like a lot of people seem to be like, since the
yeah,
NX version's here, the Wii U one might as well be dead. But it's kind of cool to hear someone be like, I don't know, I like the Wii U one, and especially you may have like the unique, like there may be people that or if the NX doesn't have the touchscreen, like you may have a unique advantage over them, like as far as gameplay, because that gamepad can do a lot of stuff for, especially like with Wind Waker HD, really took advantage of the inventory management and the map. And
yeah,
if Zelda 2017 is going to be kind of a more heavy open world game, then that could be really nice to have.
yeah. I think there are like a lot of people who buy the Wii U kind of late because now all those great co-op titles are out.
Hmm.
For me, was Smash Brothers a reason, and Pokemon Tournament because I'm like the couch co-op person,
Yeah,
and so I decided pretty late to get it. And I can understand if you have the Wii U for a couple of years now, you will be totally getting the NX and Zelda. But for people who just dived into that console, that would be an option to like wait for it because the Zelda is coming out for that console too.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, what's really cool is that they're saying they're going to be supporting the Wii U for a while, and that it's like an interesting. I don't think we've really had this before with consoles where it seems like they're not trying to necessarily phase the Wii U out in the 3DS as quickly as they have in the past.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
and even some of these ports that are coming to the NX, like a lot of the launch titles are supposedly going to maybe be just ports, and the servers could be connected. So it could be the case where all these Wii U owners are still able to play a lot of these games that are also on the NX, and you can like do the cross-platform play between them. And I think that like they'll be supported for a while, and
Yeah.
And,
so yeah, that's really cool.
and that could be
And
some of the
the
stuff
price
that,
slash too, you gotta keep in mind
yeah,
like
that
they're
could be
becoming
really.
more affordable, and like as they continue to maybe release a few more titles like that are cross platform, the Wii U will be like significantly cheaper, and a really smart decision to buy it, like especially after the NX is announced. Now Wii U prices will probably just keep going down, so good
Yeah,
time to
that could
buy that.
also be another reason, like we keep talking about how barren the next year is then for the Wii U.
Yeah,
If I mean, because originally, like we had always known the Wii U was going to be barren in 2016 as far as new releases, um, but we had always thought that that'd be kind of alleviated by the fact that the NX will just come in and kind of sweep out from under it and then take it out, and then we'll be like, okay, cool, now we have new games for the NX, and we
yeah,
don't even notice how barren the Wii U is, and so. But with the NX being delayed, it really highlights. Wait a second, yeah, the Wii U really is, as far as new games coming out, not really like alive and thriving.
yeah.
Besides Zelda, and I mean, maybe a few unannounced titles,
And
but even
Paper
those we're not.
Mario Color Splash.
Honestly, though, that is kind of exciting. So
Yeah, yeah,
I am pretty pumped for that as a Paper Mario fan. Like I haven't played Sticker Star, so maybe that's why like I don't
And
know.
we continue to get like trickles of really good indie titles on the Wii U too. So
Yeah,
like
definitely.
as they promote like at E3, if they like did another trailer where they usually do of, like the Nindies and stuff,
Yeah,
I think they could announce a whole bunch of really cool looking experimental new indie titles that are really awesome for the
yeah. I
platform.
really want to get on
Yeah.
Fast Racing Neo too.
Yeah,
But I was gonna say with what we were kind of talking about though, of like the late adopters, I guess, for the Wii U. This could really be maybe a year for them though, and maybe Nintendo's last year because the thing is if they were to release a bunch of new games,
yeah,
really all that would do is just cater to the people that already had a Wii U, and they're like, okay, cool, now I get some more games to play, and it's kind of those hardcore Nintendo fans that are currently the ones owning a Wii U. But if they're able to maybe this holiday season instead focus on, hey, you can get the Wii U for 200, 150, $100, like just
yeah.
really just be like, all right, what are we, I mean, we have these left, you can have them.
Mhm.
And if they just like do like a or like a such a big bundle that basically the console is drastically dropped in price,
Yeah.
they could just sell those out the wazoo. And if people go to the store and it's like, do I want a PS4K or an Xbox Two for $400, or I want this Wii U with Super Mario, um, uh, Splatoon, Smash Bros, all of
Zelda
that for
HD.
yeah, I mean, or Zelda HD coming soon and stuff for $200.
Yeah.
I'll pick this up for my kid. Like,
Mhm.
absolutely. Like, and they could really then,
And Sun and Moon too.
yeah, and Sun and Moon will be coming out too. But I mean, if they can really, I'm more so focusing on with the Wii U.
Right. Yeah.
If they could just drop the price of that this holiday season, they won't even need new games because then they could just promote the ones they already have. Kind of like with Zene's situation here, where it's just like, all right, then you have, I mean, all these old games are already on here. This is an awesome console for me. They're brand new, might as well
Yeah.
get it.
I mean,
Like,
Yeah.
also the Nintendo games I feel have a longer lifetime than on other consoles. I mean, I have most of my friends, and when I see what they play, they have N64 and GameCube, and
Mhm.
sometimes even the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Wii
I have the
sometimes too.
yeah, and I have the feeling that those consoles like live longer because of their multiplayer games than some of the others.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Even Reggie, I think, has said that about how like the used games for Nintendo, there's not as many because people don't really take and return their used game or Nintendo games as much, and they try to
Yeah,
make their games more where you don't return them, where they have such a replayability value that you don't really need to do that. And games like Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros, like inevitably, if you're into those games, you're not gonna complete those games. You're not gonna like finish them. You're gonna have to keep them forever. And so they
yeah,
make those really great games. And even like Star Fox Zero that just came out, that has like an infinite replayability through the campaign.
yeah.
And
It's like an arcade game, basically, like an
yeah,
arcade cabinet, only with
Pokken
in your
Tournament
home.
2 is another one that's just like they release these games that have these like infinite replayability value, like even like Mario Golf and stuff like that. It's like,
Hmm.
and even just like the core Mario games, those just seem to you can just play them forever. So yeah,
Yeah, find like new like tricks and tips and stuff to
yeah,
kind of master them and just do. I mean, yeah, the levels always have a charm that kind of wants to like it never gets tiring,
uh huh,
compared to a lot of other games where it's like, okay, this is a chore to play. Like they're
yeah,
always usually pretty fun to play.
yeah.
Another thing to kind of add to that is, um, just oh gosh, I had a point and I lost it. What was I gonna say? I was so ready too. I was just gonna drop some wisdom. Um, yeah, I
time
don't
Well,
know.
fades so
yeah,
quickly.
we should probably move on to
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
next major news that we got. That Nintendo did announce their next mobile games, which is really big. Mitomo was a huge success, and that wasn't even really necessarily a game totally.
Yeah,
But now they've released
Mitomo
they've
dropped though.
announced Mitomo dropped the Dark Souls of the Pinko games.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
but yeah, Nintendo actually released or announced the titles of the next actual games that are coming to mobile phones, which would probably just be the Android market and iOS devices. It's Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing, which is
Perfect.
really awesome. They're coming out in autumn, and they're going to be pure game
Autumn,
applications. What?
huh? Autumn. Just
Yeah,
I just never really hear you or anyone ever say autumn.
autumn.
It's always fall.
Yeah, that's true.
We say autumn here.
Do you really?
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
be because I got it from My Nintendo News, and it seems like all of the like when they type rumor and stuff, it's always like I think
Yeah,
they're like out of Europe or something, and they
yeah,
post a lot of yeah.
yeah.
Um,
I don't in the West. I guess we just don't use autumn too much. But I mean,
yeah,
it
we kind
sounds
of.
pretty classy. We can that can be a Koppai.
I kind of switched it up too because when I rewrote this, it's like they will be released this autumn. They're pure game applications, and
Mhm.
then I say like we'll get more information about these games closer to the fall. So it's like I kind of like switch,
Yeah,
use both of them. But
yeah.
yeah, Fire Emblem we got it's now considered a major IP from Nintendo,
Good.
which is really like kind of surprising that it wasn't already. Um,
Yeah.
and Animal
Yeah.
Crossing, and what's interesting, I guess, about the Animal Crossing news is that it's going to connect to, quote, the world of Animal Crossing for dedicated gaming systems. So could this hopefully be a hint that the NX will finally get Animal Crossing HD? And yeah, we'll get more information about those a little bit later. So
It better. And I also wonder if we're talking once again about the NX and how its delay has made the Wii U barren. I wonder if maybe we'll get that Animal Crossing this autumn. Like we may, I mean,
yeah,
they may say at E3 like, hey, we have like here are the details of the Animal Crossing mobile game. We have an Animal Crossing launching on the Wii U this holiday season,
yeah,
and like that could be very easily like because then they could easily just relaunch it again on the NX, and it just once again carries if Animal Crossing becomes more of a platform than an individual game by game basis,
hmm,
where it's just like, okay, this is Animal Crossing Wii U, this is Animal Crossing NX, this is Animal Crossing Mobile. They all connect. Your villager goes from one to one to one, and so that could make a lot of sense.
yeah,
I would probably assume that they're just gonna be holding out till the NX,
yeah,
but I mean, still, if they launched, I mean, if they launched a new Animal Crossing alongside Animal Crossing Mobile, and then they have Mirage Sessions Sharp FE coming out this fall, then they kind of have two Wii U games that correlate with these two IPs. Um, that could be really good. Although it's just awesome that I mean I've been playing lots of Fire Emblem Fates.
yeah.
I mean we have the Patreon episode going up of our love for Animal Crossing today. We love that series, and so those are just two people have been saying online, and I have to agree. Like there's just no better choices than
Yeah, it's
Fire
perfect.
Emblem and
Yeah,
Animal Crossing.
yeah,
Even
definitely.
better, I think, than Mario. Like, I don't know if Mario would transfer over well to a mobile phone, but
Yeah,
these
for sure.
will. Like, no
Yeah,
doubt. I can.
Yeah, I think Mario could probably be a pain in
yeah,
the like it's so hard to make good smartphone controls, especially for like those
hmm,
fast-paced jump run games. I mean, Nintendo would probably manage to do that, but not as a launch title. I think
yeah.
that's a
It'd
good
be
decision.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it's also one of those things where they have Mario now in their back pocket. Like, if ever they want to, they can just be like, okay, now we have let's push Mario on the mobile phones.
well,
Like,
yeah, and he has so much to prove, too. It's like if they put him out there, everybody's gonna be like super judging it against all of his core amazing titles that he's already had. The Fire Emblem series is a lot easier to translate to mobile, and also Animal Crossing and stuff. It's just a little more low key, I would say, and not maybe not as much eyes on it, like
yeah,
expecting it to perform as miraculously, all those kind of
yeah, because
things.
we don't know if we're getting Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival mobile or if we're getting
Yeah,
New Leaf mobile. Like it could be as simple as like a mini game heavy, just taking advantage of the
what
IP, or it could be you have your own village on your phone that
yeah.
you watch over.
What they could do mobile for Mario, I guess, is like they really should do a Mario Party sort of thing or something
Hmm.
where it's connected with all your friends and it's more of like not everybody in a train together and stuff maybe, and you're just kind of each one an individual person that's
Yeah.
playing your piece on the board and maybe can check in at any time, and that might be a way that Mario could kind of work, or just more of like a Mario sort of sports title, or
I
not like
think
a
Paper Mario would be
that would be
a
cool
good
too, like
title.
RPG sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah. Oh
mean,
yeah,
you have the
definitely.
time. You have the time in fights to like pick your attacks, and they. I mean, I only played the first one, but they had those mini games in fights, right? When you have those
Yeah.
attacks.
yeah,
I mean, this would be perfect for smartphones, like to shake it sometimes, or to tap, or to swipe to make certain like, attacks.
that's
Yeah,
a really
And
good
definitely.
idea. Yeah,
And then you
yeah,
have like just Paper Mario in your pocket. Like it's just like it just sounds right and perfect.
yeah,
And it seems like an IP that they want to keep pushing forward. Like they haven't abandoned it yet.
hmm, It always sells. I think it's Paper Mario. People love it. Like I think the past couple titles, like I think actually like Sticker Star was one of the ones that was like one of the first. I think people were kind of like I don't know about this
Yeah,
one,
Super
but
Super Paper
for the
Mario on the
most,
Wii was just so different that people, I think, were caught off guard initially, but I think now people look back on it and they're like, you know what, I did like that game.
yeah,
It was more 3D than more normal Paper Mario games, and it also came after Thousand Year Door, which was like people think is better than the first. Like it's just like the definitive Paper
yeah,
Mario. And I think
Paper
the problem
Jam.
with yeah, oh, I've
I think that got higher reviews than Sticker Star though. Like was kind of an upswing, and wasn't that more of like a collab of Paper
yeah,
Mario and
I
uh,
think
what was
I
the
think
other? What's it collab? Oh, Mario and Luigi.
Mario and Luigi, yeah. I think that one was just it came out at a time where no one was talking about Nintendo, so it just had
Yeah.
that kind of um, just force against it, I guess. I was gonna say also with the mobile games, I'm surprised because I think we got news a while back that the head of basically Mario Kart and the designer and developer behind Mario Kart was the one kind of leading on the Nintendo side of the DNA collaboration for these mobile games. And I'm surprised we just I was pretty sure that we'd get early on or very like an announcement early on of just Mario Kart on mobile.
I'd kind of forgotten about that. Yeah, that was a really good
Because
idea.
then you just have, I mean, you can fill your screen with Mario, and then you have like your map in the bottom left, your top, and then your place, like it's just it all fits on the screen. And then you just move your phone back and forth with the or what is it, gyro controls or motion controls and stuff, and you just drive. I mean, everyone already has that intuitive kind of like, oh, this is Mario Kart because they played it. Most people played it on the Wii and used the motion controls there, and
Hmm.
so you could just easily have that with a phone and race people next to you, or just be on like the light rail or on the train to work, and you're just moving your phone back and forth and driving and just going on I mean, the graphics did very well. Like we've had racing games on mobile before,
Yeah.
they could fit and stuff. And I've even played. There's a game called Boost that's so fun on mobile games,
Hmm.
and you just like you have to follow these trails of light on a cylinder, and it's so intuitive to drive on the iPhone. Like that was like the first driving games I played,
Yeah.
and
Is it that with a white tunnel?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good game.
Yeah, and it has like every once in a while there's like little speed boosts you can hit, and if you like get more of those, they kind of build up your health meter and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I remember playing that. I think it was like in the first trailer or something for like the original iPhone Touch or iPod Touch, and was like kind of like one of the games they promoted. And if you just like if you got like a banana peel, you can just like tap the screen or something. Like it would make so much sense to have Mario Kart. And Mario Kart, when we look back on the sales of the Wii like software side and the Wii U, it's like Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 7 that sell well on the like last three generations of Nintendo. And so I'm just surprised they didn't be like, all right, and now Nintendo on mobile is going to lead with Mario Kart. Like that's just kind of our saving grace. Um,
Yeah.
I'm hoping like not only am I surprised they haven't done that, I'm hoping they do decide to do it.
Yeah, it'd be. I think there's a high probability for it, just because, like you say, like it's, and we see on the charts, it's like their number one franchise selling title on pretty much every platform. Like it has a high likelihood of coming to mobile titles.
Hmm.
Seems like they have a really good perfection of the feeling of like using motion controls to drive in Mario Kart. And a lot of people, like you say, are familiar with that because they've played it. Like some of the mobile titles that try to do the whole motion control driving might be a little wonky, kind of like we talked last time about like the Mario Goldilocks thing. It's like
Hmm.
Nintendo just nails it, and so I think that they could really have an advantage if they did that. And so I'm sure it's got to be something they're considering or would consider in the future.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think also they have to like check their new audience first with those titles, because mobile audience is totally different than the
Hmm.
yeah,
console market, and I think you they don't want to hit the big titles at the beginning to first like see how the resonance is, how the people play. I mean, there will be gathering data, a lot of data, like when do people play, how maybe the age and stuff before like getting titles like Mario and
Yeah.
yeah,
Zelda on the
And
on the touch.
they're also figuring out all their favorite foods with Mitomo.
yeah.
Like
Well,
They're
is
getting
it?
every demographic like data coverage with Mitomo. They're getting their age, their
Yeah,
location, their
yeah, that's
favorite
true.
Yep.
food, what their
Their
nightmare was
Facebook.
last night, their
Yeah,
their biggest fears and regrets. Like Mitomo is some deep research and study for
yeah.
Nintendo to be getting done.
Well, I thought it was kind of interesting too, like that they chose Fire Emblem as one of their next mobile titles, and like when you see the top of the charts on mobile games or all the ads and stuff are always for like these strategy, like whatever of war, command and
Yeah.
something. So it seems like the strategy kind of genre. It seems like they might be trying to tap into that because it's more of a mobile market.
Or or you have like farmland or farm place or whatever, which
Yeah,
would be kind of along the lines of Animal Crossing, where you're maintaining your village and
definitely.
keeping that going. So yeah, two very. I mean, once again, like we kind of started off this whole snippet with, like very perfect titles for
Yeah.
mobile and Nintendo moving forward.
Yeah, and speaking of mobile titles, um, it seems like the Wii U is being gradually phased out, but what about the Nintendo 3DS?
Ooh,
Kimishima also spoke about the popular handheld system and said that more unannounced first-party Nintendo 3DS games are in development. Kimishima has revealed that there are more unannounced games and third-party games coming to Nintendo 3DS. He did neglect to mention the Wii U, so it could be that the next first-party titles we get for the Wii U are Paper Mario and The Legend of Zelda. But we
Codename
know,
Steam 2.
yeah, and we're getting Sun and
Can't
Moon too. So,
wait.
but those are announced. But we know that there is for sure is more, yeah, 3DS titles coming, and uh, I would think that,
Federation Force.
yeah, I would
Triforce
think,
Heroes 2.
yeah, Federation Force. Yeah, I'm so hyped for that. But I would think at E3 we'll for sure hear at least announcement of these supposedly unannounced 3DS
Yeah,
games
they.
alongside their only game. Like, I don't know if we mentioned that at E3 the only playable game is going to be Zelda NX or
Yeah,
U slash
yeah.
SNES.
We should have talked about that at the beginning, but I mean, maybe we can talk about it later. Something because yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
Well, it's
Or
just a lot
maybe,
of controversy around it. Like a lot of people, honestly, like we kind of started off the show and are announcing all this as like big kind of cool news, but there's like kind of a negative side where a lot of people are kind of uh, not too pleased about it, and like their stocks plummeted a bit after the
yeah.
announcement, and so it's kind of a controversy about all of these things
Yeah,
about
I
how
think
they're
maybe we can encompass like just in this whole kind of snippet here with like the unannounced 3DS games, the no announced Wii U games, and then E3 having really no sign of anything else besides Zelda U. Is just yeah. I mean, I think the negative because yeah, like you just said, when I was up covering these live announcements, I was like, this is good news after good news after good news after. I mean, I was just like, I was hyped. I was tweeting. I was sharing. I was like, this is it. Like this is the Nintendo bombshell of information that we wanted. Like it was disappointing that was March, but I was just more so happy to have an actual release date. And I was like, you know what, March does make sense for that if they want to have the software there to accompany it, and like if they want to maybe separate themselves from the rest of the stuff. I mean, I was I was fine with all of it, but then you start to I mean, in kind of I think Nintendo fashion, at least for us, like you and I experienced Star Fox, and we're like, this is awesome. Let's go online and see what other people are saying. Oh, everyone hates it. And like we get
yeah
this Nintendo news, and we're like, this is awesome. Let's go online and see what everyone else says. Oh, they all hate it.
hmm
And I think that's just kind of the trend for Nintendo fans is they're like, this is awesome. Anyone else agree?
yeah.
No?
Well, I don't
Okay.
think. Well, I think I should probably also note that like I did have some concerns about it as
Oh,
well. Like,
definitely, yeah.
just kind of wonder. Like, I do think that Nintendo maybe needs to step it up just a little bit in their like we've all heard about this NX for a long time now. We all
And
know
Zelda
like
U.
they finally really yeah, and they finally release like they lift their silence on it and start actually just saying okay, like the NX exists, it's coming out March 2017, but we're not going to be talking about it for like until later this year. And I just feel like I don't know, I think they need to maybe pick up the pace a bit because of how much the Wii U is struggling and how much like the stocks plummeted and people are just kind of skeptical and getting a little tired of the mystery and hype I think around the NX like
Yeah.
trickle of information, and they just want to get some concrete answers, and Nintendo's still kind of playing games just a little bit, and you know I don't know, it seems like not I'm not totally disappointed, I'm definitely thankful, happy, super happy that we heard that they announced it. We know it's coming out March 2017, and that they finally said that Zelda is coming out on the NX, all these things, but I just feel like they should have said like you'll hear more about it at E3. We will at least talk about it so you guys be more transparent and maybe open. It seems like they're just being a little too secretive and guarded in an
Mm-hmm.
age where a lot of these companies seem to be opening up a lot more in terms of like communicating with their fans. And like I was
Yeah.
also mentioning, it seemed like for a couple of years Nintendo was really doing a great job at opening up more. And then kind of recently, maybe with
They
the
just
NX,
they closed their doors when Iwata passed away.
yeah,
Like when he passed away, they kind of went into emergency shutdown mode, and they're like, "All right, like he's gone. We're not going to tell you who our next president is. I can tell like
yeah,
we've actually put him in there. We're
hmm
not going to tell you what the NX is. We're not going to tell you what games we're releasing. We're not going to tell you anything about mobile. Like
yeah,
they just and maybe that was Iwata that was pushing a lot of that open communication. And with him gone, they're like, all right, since he's gone, we're not going to say anything else. Um, yeah, because it wasn't even until like a year later, like at the Game Awards or something like that, that we got kind of like an official tribute to him from Nintendo, and that was like Reggie at the Game Awards or something like that.
yeah,
And like you would expect like them to like, I mean, I guess it's Japan culture, and it's also just like a big company. It's not something that they put forward, like on their Twitter and stuff. Like immediate,
yeah,
like recognition of that. But at the same time, like, yeah, they, ever since he passed away, they've been really, really, yeah, like you said, taking things slow and being slow to announce it. And even like I look at Call of Duty as an example of something that leaks. Like every year, we know what the next Call of Duty is well before they announce it. But usually, companies are getting in the habit, at least, like with Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, when something leaks, they're like, all right, go ahead and share it.
yeah,
Like someone saw the
yeah,
trailer online,
definitely.
go
hmm
ahead and share the trailer. Like we wanted to wait till the anniversary, but it's too late now. Let's get ahead of this and market it ourselves so we get the views, so we get the attention, and so
Yeah,
we can own the message. And Nintendo is like, "Oh, that just got leaked. Be more quiet. Shut the doors tighter."
yeah,
And it's just I don't know. I mean,
Maybe
I
it's cultural thing.
yeah.
I mean, they have this feeling about perfection, and if something leaks, it's like a, yeah, it's not perfection, and then they just try to hide it or speak it down, I guess.
Yeah,
hmm
they
I
do that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you could see how it is Sony also very secretive, or I don't
Yeah,
know
I
how they.
mean, they announced the PS4 pretty early on, although they're being very secretive, I think, with the PlayStation 4K
Yeah, the
4.5 rumor.
Neo, some of their first party titles that they're kind of secretive about, and we're always like wondering, will we hear about,
Yeah, Sony Bend.
Last Guardian and all these kind of things.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, there's been a few times where like they'll like someone will misreport that the Last Guardian was canceled, and then they'll be like, no, 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 we never said that. And then it's like, oh, so it is coming? Well, we never said that either, but we didn't say it was canceled. And they'll do things. I mean, yeah, where it's like, so do we have a PlayStation 4K coming out? Well, we always plan on like making the PlayStation even better than it is now. It's like, so does that mean we're getting a new thing soon? Well, we didn't say that, and it's just, I mean,
hmm
so yeah, maybe that is a more Japan thing because I mean, you have Phil Spencer from Xbox. He's always tweeting out Xbox sales numbers, or not Xbox sales numbers,
What
but he's always like kind of sharing like their thoughts and their kind of
I was just gonna
what
mention, kind of almost like that, like they seem almost to be like I guess the Trump in a way, like to just say like off the cuff things, like whatever they're thinking, it kind of hurts them sometimes,
Phil
like with the
Spencer.
whole, well, just the whole Xbox thing in general, where they kind of came out and did the whole like, no, you can't turn in your used games, and the whole Xbox go home, and like maybe
no,
doing some of these things without fully thinking through
that
and
was a
take,
disaster.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's been in what 2 years now, 3 years now, and that's
yeah,
still biting them in the butt. Like
uh-huh,
people, I still have people ask me like because they have PlayStations, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get an Xbox One maybe for this holiday season because it does have good exclusives now. And they're like, yeah, but doesn't it like not play used games or something? And it's like, oh no, it can. It can play like Xbox 360 games. Like it can do everything. And people are like, oh, I heard that it was really bad with that.
yeah,
And that's still biting them in the butt because people are still have some sort of stigma with it that it can't play used games. It's not as powerful. You have to get connect with it and stuff like because they led with that, um,
mhm,
which isn't really relevant to the conversation
yeah,
at hand. But but I guess it is because then you have Nintendo, and they're gonna if they don't start talking about the NX soon, And if they don't start talking up Nintendo and the Wii U and all that soon, then the internet's going to own the conversation if they don't own it already. And so far, the message of the internet is that Nintendo is delaying because they don't have, like, they're not ready. They can't compete with Sony. They can't compete with Xbox. They don't have the third party support, so they have to do it all themselves. Like that the message is being owned by everyone else. And even if NX launches with awesome software and awesome specs, there's a lot of people that are being like, all right, you lost me because I've been just hearing bad stuff from everyone else. I don't trust you anymore. Same way that Xbox had that similar problem of, all
Yeah.
right, I'm not hearing good things from you. I've heard it from everyone else. That's bad. I'm going to trust them. Goodbye. And so hopefully, because we talked about how Zelda 2017 is the only game playable at E3.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that probably in a later episode about our E3 speculations and as we get closer to kind of what E3 is going to be shaping out to be, because we may be getting more details on that in the next month as that actually comes up, and then we get information on other conferences and the whole structure.
Mhm.
We'll talk more, I think, specifically about that. We kind of have to. Our initial reaction is that kind of stinks, but um, I think though they're going to have to really. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it without talking about the NX, but yeah, they're going to have to give a lot of hope at E3 that things are going to be okay. Because yeah, we talked about this, I think, just privately or something on Facebook or just in text or something, Zach, that
Yeah.
they can't have another dead year. They can't have another year of please wait, please understand. We'll have more information later. Like
Yeah.
maybe they can. I mean, maybe we're like, who are we to say they can't do that? I mean,
Yeah.
they're Nintendo. At the same time, that sentence means less and less nowadays. Like,
Right.
oh, it's Nintendo. They'll be all right. Well, will they? Because they're losing a ton of money. Like,
Yeah.
they will be all right until they lose it all.
Yeah.
And so, and we're definitely. I mean, go to our last podcast, we're being accused of being paid by Nintendo. We're definitely people that support them almost to a fault. Like we're always there to be like the kind of positive spin, I think, on their news and their announcements and stuff. Like we always want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, yeah, they gotta spin this one hard if they want to. I mean,
Yeah.
because new 3DS games aren't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like unless it's, I mean,
Well, they have the possibility to just tease some titles, like just have the Metroid logo come up and everybody cheers and screams and hollers and they say like, okay, and they assure everybody that Federation Force is not the only Metroid title we're getting for the next decade or whatever. And then I don't know, like it's interesting because I don't know how many people have said like Nintendo really needs to come out this year, do a stage show, not do a direct. They need to come back like physically, and they need to like really reveal, like do the pull out of your pocket NX, here it is moment again, sort of comeback, or do
yeah.
some sort of really creative like introducing of the NX that gets everybody talking and steals the show again. I really think it'll be painful for them if they do another sort of like opening the show with color splash or something,
Yeah.
and then like I don't know, and then it
They'll
looks
they'll probably
questionable.
open the show the direct. I think it'll be a
Yeah, it'll
direct
be a
again.
Zelda probably opening.
Yeah, it'll be opening up with like the title of the Legend of Zelda. They'll be hype.
What it,
Miyamoto will come out with a
yeah,
sword and shield
yeah.
and be like, "Is this what you like? Is this what you wanted?" But yeah, so I don't know. I think there's lots of talk about them like bringing back Space World, which was like a Nintendo conference, like their own E3 basically, later this year. We'll see what they do with all that. But yeah, I mean, they're because honestly, like even if they have like first party games, like it's like no, don't even bother. Just give me Pokemon. Work on the NX. Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing? Just like let's go. Like let's just move. If you're gonna do that, might as well just move on.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Once again, though, we've also heard that the NX development is very similar to the 3DS/Wii U. So
Yeah.
maybe through developing these 3DS games, it's not too hard to just be co-developing some NX titles as well. But yeah, moving forward, if you want to go ahead, I think it'd be best to cover the Koi Tecmo and Axiom Verge in one.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta actually. I was thinking, kind of merging all of these kind of final little rumor
Yeah,
thing stories together. That we got the information that Koei Tecmo has confirmed they're starting development on the NX. but we don't know what that project is. Emily Rogers came out with some more rumors that uh, of what she thinks will be on the NX for year one. From her kind of very or what word am I thinking?
Varying, very
No, I don't know.
uh,
I don't know what I was thinking.
various.
Various sources, yes.
There you go.
Variety of sources.
Oh man, you're just going deeper, integrating these sources into the conversation.
Revolutionary eyes. But yeah, the first 12 months of the NX, we're supposed to see maybe The Legend of Zelda, of course, Smash Bros, the port, Pikmin 4, which Miyamoto has already said. I think that was
It's done.
completed. The Retro Studios project, which we talked about earlier. A new 3D Mario, which would be awesome. Mario
Galaxy.
Kart, possibly a port of Mario Kart. I think we've heard about that also. And then maybe Animal Crossing, which kind of reaffirms our talk earlier about how possibly with the whole mobile title, they could be about like a Wii U game or the NX, like a port or something like that. So,
Yeah.
and then Axiom Verge, we also got that rumor that is, I don't know, it's not super credible. Somebody, user named Axiom Verge, posted, supposedly a developer for the game, posted on the news site US Gamer, said that I got a piece of good news today that indicates I might be able to have Axiom Verge ready for NX at launch.
Yeah,
Uh,
it better. I mean, there's no reason that game wouldn't be ready. I mean, it's just. I mean,
yeah,
although they did have a lot of trouble porting it to the Vita, but
yeah.
I
It's
still
not
need to
on
play
Wii
that
U,
game.
is it? It's not on.
No, I don't
Okay,
think so.
yeah.
I don't
I
know. I'll
didn't
have
think
to
so.
check that.
But
Uh,
yeah, so that'd be cool. I would think that there's going to be lots of. Supposedly, it's really easy to port titles to the NX, not even just like Nintendo's own first party, but supposedly for third party developers like
mm-hmm.
Zein and stuff, it should be a lot easier
Yeah,
to.
game that
That would
Zane's
be
made, he'll
good.
just be putting on NX now.
Yes, like export to NX. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool if they made it like Xbox that you could develop on the console and are
yeah, that'd be
not
awesome.
obliged to have a dev kit. That would be cool, but as secretive as they are, I won't believe that that they're gonna
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. For some reason, I don't know. One of the leaks was saying that they made it, what was like the Unreal, or no, what is maybe it's Unity I'm thinking of, but what's the big engine? But they said it's really easy to port these games. They just like released Unity 5 or something, I think might be the thing I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. But they made it so that like they said people don't really necessarily need the dev kits for the NX because it's so incredibly easy to port these like other
Yeah,
platforms to it, which would be really awesome and
that
hopefully
would be great. Yeah,
open up the door to like
I
kind of,
mean,
yeah.
especially for small indies,
Yeah,
Hmm.
it would be a great achievement
I wouldn't
to
be
just like,
surprised. Yeah,
yeah,
because they seem to like with the Nindies, we were talking about, and like they really love to support indie titles, and like Shovel Knight and stuff. They got like
It's
really
selling
backed,
best
and
on Nintendo.
yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make the NX a platform that works really well for indie developers. So,
Hmm.
but yeah. Um, We also got the news that Star Fox Zero sold through 30% of its initial shipment in Japan, which I thought it was like 17,114 units. The former standalone release shipped another 8,135 copies. It didn't seem like I was
Yeah.
like that's 30% of the shipment. They really didn't make a lot of copies. We don't know
Yeah.
how well it performed here in the States. I would assume it didn't do amazing,
Yeah.
but and then also the final bit of news is just that the Virtual Console Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow topped 1.5 million downloads. More than half of the downloads came from the American market. Um, and yeah, it's been the anniversary for Nintendo. We
Hmm.
got the news that Sun and Moon's coming out, and finally, like the titles were released on the eShop without having to worry about batteries and all that kind of things dying. So
Yeah, well, it's also, I mean, we talked about a little bit about like how Nintendo re-releases, like, are they worth buying? And Nintendo, I mean, they sold each of these for $10 each, and they sold 1.5 million, and they're games that are 20 years old.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're doing just fine. Like, they
Yeah.
can just do that. Like, they can, as much as people like attack Nintendo for resting on their old IP, there they go. They have sold more than brand new games, and they're 20 years old,
Yeah.
and so,
And they didn't even
um,
make the red and green and blue like they didn't even add color to them. They made them
Yeah,
like
they're
black
just
and white.
straight ports.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the sales numbers. Now, with the remaining time that we have left, sorry we don't have more time. We so much news to cover, but I mean, as long as you can go, Zine, if you need to head out at any time, let
And I'm fine.
yeah,
It's
let us.
weekend.
Yeah, because we would like to go into this a little bit now. Like talk about you and your games before we wrap up the show.
Yeah, sure.
With as much time as we have, it's been really cool. The nice thing about just the whole structure this week and kind of relevancy is that kind of our interview with you has been able to kind of be speckled out throughout the whole podcast, where you've been able to really contribute to the conversation and stuff, because a lot of it's relevant to what you do, like with the kind of the porting and the game design and just the whole aspect of how do you develop for this hardware and stuff. And so I think the first, gosh, I mean, I know Zach has a ton of questions. He had some that were like written out and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have a question, kind of
oh,
maybe right
Yeah,
off the bat. I
yeah.
wanted to know, does that 100 letter password for Solely work in Code 7? That when it gives you say you have to enter like 100, and I'm like trying like to see all the things flashing up, does that actually work? Does it like do an
is
Easter
there
egg? I don't know. Maybe I have to figure out myself, but
what's the letter word?
Well, that information is restricted.
Oh,
No, that doesn't work.
yeah,
oh,
it would
really?
seem
Um,
almost impossible to do. But
yeah, it was a narrative
yeah,
decision. I mean, we did this project in 1 week.
uh-huh.
It was
Oh,
like a
wow.
That's
yeah, it
crazy.
was started as a student project in first semester. We had rapid prototyping, was it called?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And yeah, we had 1 week for coming up with the idea, writing the dialogue, programming it, and yeah,
Wow,
voice
crazy.
voice acting and stuff.
Wow.
So we couldn't like implement any Easter eggs or
Hmm.
something,
Yeah,
but there will probably be some in the final game, but
that's
not in
really
this
cool.
one.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you that don't know, like what Zach's talking about, we won't spoil the game because the game is
Yeah.
definitely something that needs to be like experienced. You need to play through it and kind of experience the narrative for yourself to have like the most impact. And if we kind of diminish it here, then
Yeah,
then I'll like hinder the experience. And like Zach had told me the questions he had for you before I played Code 7, and he was like, I'm gonna ask him what the 100 word thing is. I'm like, whatever that means. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. And then when I was playing the game and it popped up, I'm like, this is it. This is the moment. I need to type. And I'm like just slamming my keyboard. Slamming my keyboard actually helped me a few times in that game. So
yeah,
was really
Yeah.
fun. And yeah, to make that in a week, because I looked into your other games too, and a lot of them it seems like you make like have certain games that you made like in just one day, or like we're at
yeah.
some sort of like conference or event where it was like, okay, we made this game in one day. Like I think one of them, what was I forgot the name of
Stab
it,
of
but
conscience, maybe. That
oh
was
there was one that was like Minecraft meets like sound shapes, where it was like
yeah,
music blocks and stuff.
Oh yeah, Klangwelt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. I don't know how to say that.
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
It's a German term. It translates to sound world.
that makes sense.
And no, we did that in 3 days. I think.
Still though, come on, 3 days.
Yeah, yeah, 3 days. I mean, I'm thinking if I have ever done a game in 1 day. Yeah, yeah. We made a rapid prototype day for redoing what's uh what's the game's name again? It's a really old arcade game where you have the board and you have to break the bricks at the top, like a
Oh, I
bit
think
like
I may have seen that, like Blob Board or something. I don't know. Like I thought it was
yeah,
like Glob or Goblin or something.
I know it's an old classic arcade game, and we took 1 day to remake it. I think this is the shortest I've ever done.
Hmm.
But no, like my partner Kevin and I, we do a lot of game jams, and there you have mostly 3 days to do a game to a certain topic. And yeah, Klangwelt started like this. It was the topic growth, and we made a game where yeah, you build objects, and those objects make a sound, and you can pick the note like on a piano keyboard.
Yeah, it was really
And
fun.
yeah, and the world grows, like the music and the world, the more you play with it.
Might I add, a game that would be right at home on the Wii U gamepad. I mean, I'm just saying, you have the Wii U gamepad, you're tapping the blocks, you're putting in your sound and your keyboard down there. Just saying,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
if the Wii U is barren this holiday season, you just slip right in there and you'll be like, "Yo, we got Sound World here.
Yeah.
Here
yeah,
you
right.
go." I mean, people eat up Minecraft left and right, and if you say, "Hey, here's Minecraft," but you get to make the music because it sounds kind of like that kind of like electronic music and stuff, and really cool. I mean, I only got to play it for I probably played it for maybe like 20, 30 minutes or so, and I didn't really
Yeah,
know what I was doing because it's just like I started making all sorts of like what is it like tritones or yeah, just
yeah,
really like just chords and stuff that did not go well, like or non-tonic and stuff. It was just yeah, tritonic or something. I took music for 3 years. I've already forgotten everything.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Actually, we're still working on that game as a side project. On Game Jolt, I think you played it. It's a pretty old version. We now have chord support, if you want to call it like that.
oh
So
wow.
you have a book, and you always can look it up and the chord families, and you get like points when you like diamonds when you unlock a new chord, and then it will be displayed. So it has a bit more
Hmm.
learning value now.
Hmm.
We think about bringing it out on mobile devices,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you
and
think?
yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
Well, I
no.
was gonna say, do you think like with the 3DS, do you think have you ever thought about developing for that? And when I was looking at kind of the images, because I have a Samsung phone, I didn't get a chance to actually play that game, but it looked like kind of the isometric or like kind of overview, like it seemed if it was 3D on the 3DS, it'd be kind of a cool thing, and it kind of also has the gamepad sort of touch screen at the bottom. Have you
Yeah.
ever thought about messing with like the 3D features or doing any sort of 3DS port of one of your games or something?
Not yet,
Yeah.
because yeah, I mean it was more of an accident that we developed for Wii U because it wasn't planned at the beginning.
Hmm.
It like developed the project developed as we made it like Typoman. We saw like okay, Wii U could be something for us, and so it's not actually our or my primary focus.
Right.
And also now, since I'm not working there anymore at Brain Seed Factory, I
Hmm.
would have to apply a new as a developer.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
Oh
I,
okay.
I think it will not be a problem, but it's still a bit of like effort to get thing like the pipes going again.
Hmm.
And I would have to have my like a new dev kit and stuff, and
Yeah, like
it's all in the beginning a lot of effort. But we thought about Code 7 could be on Wii U or NX because
Definitely.
a lot of people ask us, yeah, will you port it to consoles?
hmm
And we at beginning we always said no, it's a text adventure, you have to
right.
type, you need a keyboard, like it's part of feeling. But then we thought about it, and if we had to pick a console, Wii U would make sense because you could type on the screen.
Definitely.
Or the version we now have also have has like icons of all the objects you can interact with. So like the commands are always set together with like the object and dot and then the verb like
Right.
Yeah.
door dot open, and it's a lot with those two things. And we also thought about the possibility that you don't type, but you gather together like the words,
Mm.
like
Oh okay.
the object and a list for the objects and a list for the verbs or something.
Yeah.
That could be possible, maybe even for touch devices, but it's a lot of
Yeah.
yeah thinking, not realizing that right now.
Mm.
Yeah, I had gone into it with the mindset of like, I mean, just from the kind of perspective of a Nintendo fan and for the Nintendo podcast discussion, I was like, could this be, relevant and like, could this be like ported to the Wii U or the NX or the 3DS and like, could that discussion be possible? And there was a lot of me that was like, this is so text heavy, like
hmm
even more so
Yeah,
like than Typo Man, where Typo Man like it's kind of like more slower pace where you can move the letters around and you can form the word and maybe do trial and error and stuff. But there's like some moments in Code 7 where it's like you got to type this in fast, hit enter, go. And I feel like
yeah,
if you pull out the stylus and you're trying to click on the gamepad, the letters, it may be a little too slow. Although you could probably adjust that in the development. Be like, okay, maybe slow it down a little bit or like give a little bit more grace room or something. But because yeah, that was such a good experience. I think would be right at home with like a kind of like a screen in your lap, like you basically have like your terminal keyboard like right at your on your like lap and stuff, and so that could be really cool. Do you? Because you had mentioned that you're kind of working now in Code 7. Was that originally kind of envisioned as okay? What we have up online right now is going to be the prelude, and then we're going to make episodes later, or because it seems like, I mean, at first glance, that Code 7 is like kind of a standalone game, and then you find out later, oh, this is just the first chapter in a series like of a longer narrative. Like,
Yeah.
did you kind of come up with the idea later to make this longer than it was? And
Yes,
okay,
it wasn't planned at the beginning. As said, it was a student project,
yeah,
and we finished it and we uploaded it and it was done. And but then a lot of people played it on Game Jolt and we got a lot of good ratings, and a lot of people wrote like, "Wow, I usually think text adventures are so boring. This was so exciting." And that was the point where we started to think about, wow, maybe this is like a game we should develop further, because we didn't expect that. Usually there has been a lot of try like experiments bringing the text adventure back, but none of them was very successful.
mm,
I mean, I think the most advanced text adventure visually that still sticks to the old rules is Cypher, but almost never have no one has heard of it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
just know the one from the movie. Have you seen the movie Big with Tom Hanks?
Um, I don't
Little boy
know.
becomes big overnight. I don't know. He has a game in there
Oh
that's a
yeah.
text adventure, and I always thought that was the coolest game in the world because it's
Yeah.
like, what do you want to melt this guy with? And he just smirks and he's like, the ice rod. And I'm like, how did the game know that what he typed would, or like the fire rod or something? I'm not like too sure what it was. I remember just being like, how did the game know that ice rod was the right answer?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then last night I was playing and it was like, how do you want to open the door? And I'm like, door open, and it was like that's it. And I'm like, no way, this game knows me.
Yeah.
But, but
Yeah, we have to find the balance between freedom and still feeling like text adventure, but skipping all the frustration of like typing 10 things and nothing works because the parser doesn't get it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, what I was saying is that all those feedback from the users and the nomination from the Amaze Award, which is a pretty big festival for indie games in Germany, um, with we started to think about, okay, we could make a bigger story out of it, maybe even in 5 chapters, like because we're huge Telltale fans and like
oh yeah, definitely.
narrative games, and yeah, we thought about, okay, let's do something like this but as a text adventure. And yeah, then we started. We founded the company, and now we're working on those 5 episodes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Telltale is one of my favorite developers. I've actually kind of talked back and forth with some of the developers and writers over there when doing like live stream and let's plays of their games, and they're awesome people. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I've played after, like The Walking Dead, like their older stuff and all that, like isn't bad, but I haven't played it, and a lot of people are kind of like, you don't really need to bother with that too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Walking Dead onwards, I don't think there's a Telltale game out there that's not like very good. I mean, they're all, as far as narrative goes, always like on point. Um, and while the end, like people get a lot of like criticism on the engine and stuff, it seems like even that they're starting to refine. And yeah, like are definitely like one of like the top dogs and stuff. And so to have them as an inspiration makes a lot of sense. Like I think I also saw that like on your profile you had like a Ori and the Blind Forest was an inspiration,
Yeah.
which I definitely saw. I don't know what was your kind of hand in the Typoman development. I know you're not there anymore, and it's kind of focusing now on the new projects and stuff. But I
Yeah.
couldn't help but notice that Typo Man kind of had, it seemed, especially with like the lighting and stuff, kind of had that Ori and the Blind Forest. Were you the art direction, or were you the music, or were you the gameplay mechanics, like, or all of that, or none of the above, or?
I was a lot of things. I mean, when the project started in 2011 on paper, and back at those days we were like 3 people, 2 programmers and me. And at that time I did everything except programming.
Okay.
So we came up with the initial concept, and I wrote the game design document. And at the production, like when at the end, we were 6 people working on that project. And
Okay.
what I did was the game design and the level design, uh, the concept for the character design. Then our artists,
Hero, so yeah, such a cool looking character.
yeah, he
Starting
drew
off the game and stuff is little. Oh, I had like no idea. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, you're a little guy.
yeah, letters live. And yeah, animation,
Yeah, cool.
character. I did a lot of stuff. I'm kind of the all rounder. I can't settle with just one thing. I have always to try stuff. I also wanted to do the music, but then I would have to split myself because I
Yeah.
had to
I was wondering if you
do
did the
some.
music because I was checking out your SoundCloud and you had a lot of tunes on there, and I was like, I wonder.
Yeah,
Like some of these kind of sound like the music, but I wasn't too sure. I'm like, I don't know though,
no,
because it looks like kind of his art style too, and he also talks about writing. So I wonder if he wrote it. But I also know that he does game design. Did he
yeah,
do? He can't have done all of this though. Like I don't know what did. And so I was gonna ask you like kind of pinpoint what you like was the one thing you did. But yeah, well, lo and behold, you did it all. With the I mean, such a small studio. That's awesome. I was also
yeah,
going to ask. I mean, we want to wrap up the podcast just because um, the, our listeners' attention spans and stuff want to hope they like go to the very end of the episode and stuff, and also to respect your time and all of that. But I was going to ask. I mean, you have so just kind of moving forward now. I think in the future of Zein Okko and Goodwolf Studio, kind of like what are maybe your upcoming plans? If you have Code 7 now, you're doing the 5 episodes, um,
yeah,
thinking maybe about like how that could be a console port, how it could work with the Wii U, and then you've also done like a lot of other various projects. I mean, as far as I can't pronounce the name, the Sound World game, but then you also have
Klangwelt.
yeah, that one. And then you also have Typoman. Like, is that once you wrap up Code 7 and stuff, is kind of the next project, okay, how do we port this to a console, or do we just move on to another game? Would you like ever, because I mean, you mentioned that Typoman was kind of like the most, I don't know if you'd say ambitious, but like kind of like the biggest game that you've worked on. Would you want to return to something and maybe try to create something? I mean, you can't do Typoman 2 because you're not with Brainseed anymore, but you could maybe return to that kind of concept of playing with text and platforming. Like what's the next step moving forward with you and your studio in the next kind of year and
Yeah. Um, we're not thinking too much about porting. We will probably head to the next project. Even, I mean, in game development, when you're small, it's good to have already the next project in the pipes
yeah.
before you launch. And what we want to do is primarily narrative games, so story-driven games in any sorts of media. And we don't have something specific now. We think about like maybe experimenting with HTC Vive and VR a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Um, but we also think about having some interactive comics or something. Uh, we still have to find what is our thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, it appears to be, at least my thing appears to be words in some sort of
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
definitely.
sort of. I also thought about a game where you have a book, and you read a part of story, and then on every page you can dive into what happens now and have to solve a puzzle and come back. So I think a lot about words and language as gameplay,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure if this will be our trademark. Um, yeah, we focus on story. That's our thing
Yeah.
where we evolve around,
Mm.
and we'll see what will be after Code 7.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was really cool to see that kind of style carry through between Code 7 and Typo Man was just yeah, the wordplay, the kind of the almost puns, but also just like the puzzles through like what's the word combination that cracks this puzzle, was really really fun, and for was kind of like a new way of telling story. I think that really only could be done, I think, on the medium of video games, which
Mm.
is always cool when those experiences happen, like where you can argue with a lot of modern games, like this could be a movie, like, you know, Uncharted is awesome, but Uncharted could be a movie maybe, or the Telltale games could be this. But I mean, then you have like these games and stuff where you, in order to have that experience, you really need to be immersed in it, like through picking and
Yeah.
choosing the words and typing them yourself and all of that. And so, very, very, very cool. And we look forward to kind of seeing where you go, and as your studio develops and evolves and expands. No doubt we'll have success because yeah, these games are awesome. The wordplay is such a
Thank you.
cool hook, and we're glad that we were able to have you on because now people are going to look back at you, you know, in 5 or 10 years, and they're going to be like, yo, that guy was on Koppai. Now he's like getting, you know, Game of the Year awards at the Game Awards with standing next to Kojima and all that. And so
Who knows?
who knows? One day. Um,
Or the other way around, in 10 years, you're gonna be like the leading podcast, and I'd be like, I was there, I was there.
Goodwolf Studio is on. Yeah, hopefully we'll see. We're trying and all that.
Yeah,
But yeah, thank you so much for being on, and thank you, audience, so much for listening to Koppai Podcast episode 20. We hope you enjoyed. I think this is, once again, I say it every week, I think it is another one of my favorite episodes. Was really awesome to have you on, Zine, and it was just
yeah, thanks for having me.
was such a good was such a good week. Lots of good news to discuss. We're gonna have to honestly unpack more of it later throughout the month because we could talk so much more about some of this stuff. But yeah, there's just only so much we can do. And so be sure to hop over to YouTube or patreon.com/Koppai Productions and find our exclusive May episode, where you can listen to our discussion on Animal Crossing, and you can also check out our previous discussion on The Legend of Zelda's anniversary, as well as the Pokemon anniversary. That'll be about over 3 hours of content for just $1 of us talking about all things Nintendo. You also are entered to win an NX, and there's other different rewards that you can get if you support us over there. And so we have a few supporters over there already, and it's just really awesome to have that. And the more support that we get there, the more we can do as a company and as Koppai Productions. Also, be able to head over to our new merch store that we just launched this weekend, and also let us know what you think about the new style, the new logo, the new branding. If you like it, let us know. If you hate it, please be gentle, and because we put a lot of work into it, and so that would break our hearts if you were all like, you know what, this is not worth it. But we think you're gonna like it, and yeah, we'll have to have you on back again when you have maybe the new episodes of Code 7 out. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
and we'll have to sit down and talk about those because I know Zach and I are going to have questions right off
Yeah.
the bat. Zach's going to have some unsolved mysteries that he's going to need to have answered.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I'll be
Zach,
happy to come back.
Zach, was there anything that you wanted to say? I guess like even like back in the interview, or just to close out, any last questions that you had, or is there anything you want to say to lead to the closeout?
All I want to say really is that I think that the the game, like the niche that you're in, the whole word thing, I think it's what you guys maybe are meant to do, and it's working out so great. All of the things that I've experienced so far with your games are really amazing experiences, and I think that
Thank you.
it's really valuable and something that everybody will be able to jump on and enjoy, and everybody needs to go check out these games because they are
Definitely.
really incredible. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, Code 7 gave me chills. It's an experience that everybody needs to go play. I need
It's
to
free.
beat
Yeah.
Yeah, it's free. I need to go beat Typoman, but what I played of that so far has been absolutely mind blowing, amazing. And so yeah, definitely everybody
Some
go
tricky
check out this
puzzles.
guy. Check out Goodwolf Studios and Zein Okko. He's awesome. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Otherwise,
there's no excuse to not go ahead and go try the games because Code 7 is free, and Typoman, unless you don't have a Wii U, Typoman has a demo. So you can try out both of those. And then all the other ones, if you just search for Zenoko, his name will be in the title and the description. If you search for him, you'll be able to find his other games on Game Jolt. And most of them, I think, if not all of them, are free to play. and try
Yeah.
out and experience. And so definitely go check those out. Yeah, good call. And even if you do decide like to get Typoman stuff, like it's not too expensive. And so definitely, I mean, I think I can just tell that the game's gonna be worth its weight. And
I think it
so
should be on everybody's Wii U console. It's like one of those games that is
yeah,
right at
that's
home
true.
now on my Wii U. So
Well, and it's also one of those things where people are always like, well, "What do you use the gamepad for?" And it's like
yeah,
for stuff like this. Like, come
hmm
on,
yeah,
this can't happen on
Yeah.
another console. I mean, at least not as intuitive as the way it is on the Wii U. And
right.
so yeah, go check those games out. Check all the new stuff that we have out. Lots of stuff to check out. You have plenty of homework until we come back next week, and get ready for that live stream because we're gonna be rocking that. Be sure to enter into the Amiibo giveaway, all of that good stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. And so, Zine, every episode we end with just a rallying cry of the word Koppai. And if you want to
Okay.
join in, you can.
Sure.
If you feel caught up in it and you don't know exactly what's going on, you can bow out. But yeah,
Oh,
Zach,
I'm in.
without further ado,
Bye. Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks for
Great.
joining with us.
No problem.
Yeah.
Every time.
Right, and that's the end. That's the end. So
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
thank
problem.
you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, whenever you want to
Yeah.
come on, because not only is it nice like, to have you on to talk about your projects and stuff, but
Yeah.
having your perspective also with kind of just the Nintendo side of things and the game sales, and even you like being like a Nintendo fan. It sounds like um,
Yeah.
it's just nice to have you on and stuff and have that perspective and all that because we don't know game design at all. You know, like, I think
Yeah.
maybe both of us have toyed with Game Maker and we used to hack into Pokemon back when we were younger, but we don't know how you're making these words do things on the screen. So especially in
Yeah.
3 days, my goodness. And so yeah, we'll have to have you back on. But thank you so much again though for being on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you again.
You're welcome.
So hopefully it recorded. Did you get it all recorded?
I believe so. I have to hop out and make sure it all did.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. I'll leave you that because I'm super hungry
Okay,
and my
me too.
voice
I
hurts
actually
from
didn't have
talking.
lunch, so yeah. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, talk to you there.
Bye.